And we are on. Hello and welcome to a special episode of Sports Unhinged. It is the Super Bowl, and here we are reviewing it. Little did we know at the beginning of the season that one of us will be really nervous walking into this weekend.
Not Houston.
Yeah, no nerves. No nerves.
Houston, North Carolina.
Look at the hand. Steady.
Ujitha, how do you feel? Your Eagles are in the Super Bowl.
Controlled fear.
Less than 48 hours away. How do you feel, man?
Can't wait. Excited. Can't wait. Shouldn't be that excited. I haven't got my Super Bowl cap like I did last week. All right. Should probably get it. But yeah, looking forward to it, man.
WTF, man. What are you doing?
Say again?
He almost jinxed them last time. I mean,
you almost.
I didn't almost jinx him. It was a blowout game.
But I mean, usually when you do things like that, you jinx them, but you ended up jinxing the quarterbacks of the 49ers. They all went down.
I pour ice down the back of Jinx, all right? Jinx is the turd between the tiles of my bathroom floor.
Oh, wow. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right.
I don't care about no Jinx. Hey, listen, we're excited in 17. We're back after 6 years. I love it. And, I mean,
you're clearly off the walls here. You don't know what to do.
Before we get too far, there is a wager or a line on whether the Philly special will be run in this game.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. Plus 130 by either team.
I never thought about it.
It's plus 150 if Philly runs it. It's plus 130 if Kansas City runs it. I can see Kansas City doing it. I got to tell you.
Kansas City is going to run that rugby play that Kelsey tried. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, maybe.
The lateral pass.
Philly special. Let's roll.
Well, this can only be described as Donna Kelsey's dream nightmare. The two brothers going up against each other. So I think let's start with this. Ujitha, tell me, how do your Eagles win this game? Let's break it down, because for me, I'm looking at it and I can't find the weakness. I think this is the most complete, healthy team going into a Super Bowl in a long, long time. Break it down for us. How do your Eagles win this Super Bowl?
Well, they just got to keep doing what they've been doing best at. And we saw that with San Fran. Let's keep the run game going. Yeah, trust in that O-line. I mean, they didn't have much. It wasn't effective at the start of the game, but then, we saw the blocking schemes come out. Kelsey had, just been phenomenal this season.
Absolutely.
That line has done everything possible. And so just keep the run game going. We don't want to come to a position where Hurts is going to be throwing 40, 50 times. Yeah. The RPO has worked magic. I mean, this is the one area where it kind of splits the defense. Nick Bosa had a lot of time figuring out whether it was a read option or was it a screen, was it a pass, and that kind of took him out of the game. Going to have to do the similar thing with Chris Jones. We know how he's going to be all over this line. Hopefully, Casey doesn't make the mistake of trying to have tight ends blocking and stuff like that. But just keep doing it. And, when we saw on defense from the Giants game how they've been able to adjust, how they're able to drop back, show 4 or 5. I think the key area is going to be how quickly Jonathan Gannon adjusts from a 4-man rush to a 5-man front. We don't want to do it too early. We know that Pacheco, depending on how good Mahomes is with his leg, maybe have Pacheco running it a lot and more crossing routes with Kelsey. So we don't want to get too early on to figure out, is it 4-man, 5-man, whatever it is. Take your time. Don't be really fuddled if they're up by a score or 2 going into the half. We've seen they can adjust. The only thing is suddenly the Eagles are favorites, and that's where I'm comfortable.
I did not expect that. Yeah, I mean, looking at
I think the line started and went the other way, and this is what happened with KC and Cincinnati with all the Borrowhead nonsense that went on.
Right,
and they were in the corner. They came back. You don't want to do this with Reed. And the other thing is, Reed's had 2 weeks to figure out the Eagles' offense and defense, and that's scary. And Mahomes. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm excited. I mean, it's the two best teams.
How do you answer the haters that say that you didn't really beat anybody in the lead up to the Super Bowl? I mean, you've got the Giants, you've got 49ers without a quarterback. Does that concern you that the Eagles have gotten there without going up against real opposition and they might not be ready for Patrick Mahomes?
Oh, they're ready. They're ready. Come on. I mean, yeah, well, like Brock Purdy, I think we did him a favor, honestly, injuring him. Because, that leaves his legacy intact. Hey, I got, last draft and I got them to the championship game and I got hurt because he wasn't going anywhere with the way that pass rush and that defense was handling that game. Okay, so we did him a favor. And listen, and San Fran had their full defense. What happened? They got blown out 31 points. They had their full defense. So whoever says that they haven't been tested, yeah, they have been tested, but they've been scheming so well, coming up with all these different, to your zig, I got the zag. They've done several different things. They are ready. They are ready for Mahomes' crew.
And if they win the Super Bowl, let's assume that Jalen Hurts is not the MVP there. Who is second in line for you? Who is the second favorite behind Jalen Hurts to be the Super Bowl MVP?
On a personal note, for me, Jason Kelce, to be honest. I mean, and your guy Hassan Reddick.
Wow. Okay. Excellent. Coach, let's go over to the other side. Can you pick against Mahomes after seeing him beat Joe Burrow in the way that he did?
Well, yes. I can do that. I think the Philly defensive line is the best we've seen in the Super Bowl in a while. Yeah. And if you look at, even if you go just back a couple of years to Tampa against Kansas City, that defensive line dominated that Super Bowl. And because they dominated that Super Bowl, the quarterback, no matter how good he was or wanted to be or tried to be, he just couldn't make the plays he needed to make. So I think that the Philly defensive line is the best defensive line, my goodness, I've seen in a very long time. It doesn't mean I'm picking Philly, but I think if that's where I to pick against Kansas City, that would be the reason. I think that, listen, they're very, very good on the defensive line for Philly. Very, very good. I think there's an over-under bet of over 4.5 sacks by the Philly in the game.
Wow.
And I'm leading to the over. I got to say, they're really that good. And you know me, I don't like Philly. I don't like Ujitha either. So I really have to say props to Philly and props to that defensive line. But if I flip it also, Ujitha brought up a good point. San Francisco had all their best defensive players and no one was hurt there and everything was fine. The offensive line also of Philly dominated. Yeah. We talked about this on our podcast maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks ago when they played Dallas. At that time, Dallas had the best playing defense in the league. And that RPO and RPP, sometimes they call it, just absolutely dominated the Dallas front line. So I don't know. I can pick against Mahomes, but at the same time, Andy Reid on the bye, 26-4 with 1 week to prepare. Ooh, man, I don't know. Ooh, boy, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the Philly defense, until the 49ers game where they recovered 3 fumbles there, they had gone 7 games without creating multiple turnovers. Is that a concern for you, Ujitha?
Not at all. I mean, look, the way they've been able to get at the quarterback, that rush itself, you sometimes you have the quarterback just throwing the ball wherever he can find a receiver, and maybe the defense is playing a bit back. The defensive backs are a bit not press, soft coverage. They've been playing a lot of soft coverage, so that's why maybe not a lot of turnovers. But there's enough to make them. Actually, they don't have time to think. That's been one of the greatest thing. And before we leave on that, the one point that even Coach brought up about the blocking schemes of the Philly O-line, maybe he can try to break that. If you got a play where he can break that, because they've been doing that all season.
He's going to make me break down how good Philly is. I knew he was going
Oh
to.
yeah, it
Of
was in the
course.
back pocket.
So before you press play, I want
Yeah.
everyone to look, and I'm going to have you do pause, let's say about 2 seconds in. I want everyone to look at how well in this RPP or RPO that they do one-on-one setups to blocking schemes. So you can play it if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Now stop right here. Now, everyone, if you have a look at the moment that the play is snapped, and you can't see it obviously with the circles, but if you watch the all 22 and you can YouTube it, YouTube will send us some money. You can YouTube it. Those three defensive players, once the offensive players bail, they never look. They never look at the quarterback. So automatically now you're 8 on 8. Yes. And you're going to win. Here, single, blocked, and passed, blocked. Now, all this running back has to do is beat Mr. 31.
Yeah.
Yes. You'll take that every day, all day. And let's just say for grins, because it happened about 4, maybe 5 plays later in this quarter, let's just say he doesn't give it. And let's just say one of these, let's say number 1 cheats and tries to hammer that gap. They're going to complete this again to 88, and he's going to run up the sidelines. He doesn't score, but I think he gets about 12, 13 yards just to keep them honest. So, my goodness, the one-on-one, you're exactly right, Ujitha, how well that offensive line plays. And then all they do is get their running back. And every day, all day in the NFL, I'll take my running back against your free safety 9, 10, 11 yards deep, and I'm going to win 9 out of 10 times. And in the Super Bowl, I might win 12 out of 15 times.
100%. So, and then this is how obviously it played out. It went all the way for a touchdown. Now, if we flip over to the Kansas City side, of course, for Kansas City to win this game, there are one player that has to have a heck of a game, and that is Travis Kelce. So, Coach, take us through this play. This was the
don't press play yet.
Yeah, this is a 4th down scenario that led to a touchdown. And it's just, it really shows the dominance of number 87 there. I mean, he can do whatever he wants in the end zone. Plays could get broken up, and he will still find a way there. Can you just talk us a little bit about how this one was lined up and then how it ended up?
Yeah, so first of all, I cannot believe Eric Bieniemy is not getting consideration as a head coach in the NFL. That's number one. He and Andy Reid do such a good job getting their players or their playmakers into space. Okay, so this is the guy that they have decided they're going to put under pressure. Number 20. You don't recognize it at the moment because you've got all the playmakers other than 88, and he's just going to chip 57. But you've got 83 on this side, 87 on this side, 11 on this side, 9 on this side. And I think this is the 4th down play, if I'm not mistaken. Right, where they score a touchdown. And they're going to little roll out. Yes. What you don't understand is this play is 100% designed to make number 20 make a decision. Is he going to sit and make sure that 88 doesn't beat them somewhere around here? And at the moment he recognizes 88 does not, even if that's 1 second, maybe 1.5 seconds, he's got to get to this point of the field, to the center. Now, here's the problem. If they recognize that this is one-on-one, and then number 11 does his thing, whether that's one-on-one, 24 has to be honest somewhere here, and so does 55. All right? Most of the time, 24 has to roll here. I'm going to tell you right now, and everyone will watch this when Mr. Mo hits play, the play is designed to make number 20 look bad. Okay? Now, why they don't understand where number 87 is, I don't know. But he's going to kind of shift here, run here, and then do a comeback. At the moment, his one-on-one person is looking bad. 15 is going to throw the ball. But the entire time, he is looking at number 20. If 20, I'm going to do this in blue. If 20 had done this, then I think Mahomes would have thrown the ball somewhere around in here. But because number 20 does somewhere around in here, 87 does to my red arrow, and he kind of comes back here, and that's where the ball goes. You can press play now.
Yeah, let's see how it played out.
Where's number 20? Middle. Oh, he didn't come back to the center. He
Exactly
is
where you thought he'd end up. Yeah, so I mean that's I mean it really shows that, you know, even the superiority of Travis Kelce there. He's really able to bounce off a guy that was very closely marking him, and he still was able to get the shot through. And it also shows the trust that Mahomes has with his tight end over there.
Stop right there. Now don't go to the end and then press pause, or at the end press pause. Now pause right here.
Yeah.
What you don't realize, but you might remember having watched quite a bit of Kansas City's games. How many touchdowns has number 87 caught right here? Yeah, an enormous amount. So that means number 30, yes, he's playing
looking that way.
He's playing him outside in. He's got to play him to this place. Yes. In recognition that, my God, number 20, where are you? I love you. Where the F is happening. You can't just sit in the middle because there ain't nobody else coming up there.
Right.
Where the F are you, right? But if you remember back and keep in mind, Kansas City has watched how much film and how many sticks, how many posts, how many corners has 87 caught for a touchdown this year? I don't even want to begin to estimate, but that's why number 30 is not at fault. He's playing him outside in.
Wow.
Good
Fantastic.
call.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Listen, no, if you could stay back on that play, Mo.
Okay.
Oh, now
you want to go back and
No, again, it's got nothing to do with the
Coach
Eagles.
U. Let's go, Coach U.
Listen, first of all, what's scary is that connection between Mahomes to actually know that 87 is going to end up where he did. But if you go back to the beginning of the play, because I saw an interesting snap about pre-snap motion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, go back like right at Now, I don't know, and I could bet about 50 fills that 87 started on the left.
50
okay. Yeah, and then. So because Coach brought the interesting point that the whole play was designed to make 20 look bad.
Yeah.
Now, I am assuming 87 started on that side of the field because I saw a stat where no one does pre-snap motion better than Kansas City.
Right.
And this is where defenses really, they get lost in communication. So maybe 20 was supposed to go with 87 to the other side, but then he stayed still there because maybe he thought 87 was going to come on a shallow cross or a crossing route or something like that.
Right.
So, I mean, this is one area where Philly will have to be aware of this pre-snap motion usage. They use it about 70%.
Coach Ujitha brought up a very good point here. And sometimes we used to do this. And again, I'm just a high school coach, so obviously I'm not NFL. But at the moment that you motion away from a zero look, right? And a zero look means everything on your side of the screen. There's no one on this side of the screen that can catch a pass other than 88. That means you go immediately as they motion to a zero look, you go to a man zone. So a man under or a man on the right-hand side and a zone to the middle. Yeah. So Ujitha brings up a great point. At the moment that let's say they motioned 87, he's here, and they motion him over here to like this, that means number 20 automatically has, a half of the field.
Right.
Yeah. Now,
but don't you think there's a danger there that if 20 moves over and 88 actually breaks free, then it's a very easy touchdown? I mean, there's nobody.
How many times, listen, I got to be honest, and I'll do this in red. How many times do you see, this and 88 block chip? They see 20 going here, and I'm going to put this in red. 88 block, and then do this, and then number 15 stops and throws a backside for a touchdown.
Right. Yeah, and then that's what makes Patrick Mahomes.
That's
so
why That's why this play right here is designed to see what 20 does. Now, the fun part of coaching is they're going to do that 2 times. maybe 3 times, and they're going to keep sucking number 20, and they're going to keep sucking number 20 to the 87 side. And at some point, number 88 is going to release and come out. Watch for it in the Super Bowl. It's going to come. Nice job, Ujitha. You're exactly right.
Super.
That's what we got to watch out.
Out loud.
Awesome. Now let's talk about the scores here. Ujitha, give us your score. Wow. Are we going over? Is it a high scoring game? Is it a low scoring game?
8 to 7. 8 to 7, he's going to say. 8 to 7.
8 to 7. What is the over under? Honestly, I didn't look at that even.
Oh, goodness. I think it's 1.5.
That's a spread, yeah.
Hold on one second. I do have it right here.
Well, yeah, while he looks that up.
51.
51.
51. Yeah, I would go right on the cusp of that because, look, if it comes down to a close game, it's probably going to be Kansas. So I'm actually going to take maybe a touchdown and a bit for the Philly win.
Is this recorded?
So, I'm going to say 30-20 Philly.
30-20. All
I'm
right.
going to keep it under. It's keeping it under a bit, but I know if it's a close game, if it's going to come down to Harrison Butker with a field goal, then Kansas City is probably going to win that damn game. So 30-20, touchdown and a bit, Philly for the win.
All right, Coach, your pick.
My goodness, I haven't thought about the over-under or that 30-20 look. Here's how I kind of see it playing out. I very much see a back and forth, and then about the end of the first quarter to the end of the third quarter, I see the defenses kind of figuring it out, right? So there's not going to be a lot of scoring between second quarter to beginning of fourth quarter. And then I think the dam breaks, they figure it out, they go back and forth because the offensives can play the game, yeah? Nothing taking away from Philly's offense because they can do it. So listen, I don't do scores very much. I like the over in this game as I'm looking at it. I can see very much either way, Philly or Kansas City, that last, let's say 95 seconds, that last 100 seconds, a minute and a half, minute 40, whoever scores to go ahead. I can see the other team coming back. Ujitha, I really like it.
Here we go.
They are the team to beat. I think they have had a wonderful season. I've lost so much money betting against Andy Reid in the bye. I will take Kansas City at the end to win the game, cover, but also go over.
Okay, well, for me,
I
had a colossal failure in the NFC in the championship rounds, right? So both my picks did not make the Super Bowl. I have been an avid.
I think that means something about cheeseburgers, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. I did put 3 cheeseburgers on the line.
I got 4 hours left if anyone want to stake it. Yeah, let's go.
So
I'll be there.
I've been an avid Eagles hater, for most of the season. Every time I pick against them, they win. So I'm going to go about it in a different way this time. I'm looking at the Philadelphia Eagles, best top to bottom roster. I'm hyping you guys up, Ujitha. Top to end. The top end O-line.
You got evil intent. You're not doing it out of love. You're not doing it out of
playmakers.
Conscious.
The top defense at all 3 levels. Even your wide receivers. I don't know who's your number 1. Is it Devontae Smith or is it AJ Brown? Their numbers are very similar, and both of them can actually break out. I will even pick AJ Brown to be the Super Bowl MVP. I think he will do wonders there.
Great.
I'm picking the Philadelphia Eagles to win by a field goal in the very last minute, 30-27. And the Philadelphia Eagles will see. I'm on your side. I've come over to your side, Ujitha.
Oh, piss off! in the words of our great friend Mark.
Piss off!
Oh, piss off!
Oh wow!
See, my intentions. Am I trying to jinx them, or am I just supporting my good friend here, who's been my foe for most of the season? I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna watch it together on Sunday. So yeah, let's see who.
I gotta
Let's
say,
see who
I think-
leaves that bar.
I like Mo's comment here about AJ. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has, I think, the best promo bet of the Super Bowl. It is plus 1.5 touchdowns for him at 35-1, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoa.
On the over.
Oof.
Sign
How
me
good
up.
of a bet is that? Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a good one.
very, very good bet. I think that's probably the best promo of the other than heads or tails, or how long the national anthem might be. I like the over on that 1.5.
He's been relatively quiet in the playoffs, so yeah, you never know.
You know
I don't
what?
know, guys. I got to be honest. I just Andy Reid on the bye.
I think if you say it 3 times,
What is it we say?
it's not going to happen.
I don't know.
I've said it like 5 times now. It's not going to happen.
Okay. Look, I like Philly. I think they are predominantly. I watched an NFL Network thing the other day where they were going position by position, and they had the Eagles on 15 of the 22 positions outflanked. Yes, so that means that Kansas City only had 7, but the 7 that they had,
Well, quarterback,
right,
wide
in
receiver.
Chelsea. Yes.
Yeah.
Quarterback. I don't know. I've got a hard time
By the
betting.
way, I mean, Kansas are not very healthy either. You know, Kadarius Toney's questionable, but he said he will play. Juju Smith-Schuster as well. You've got
Mahomes.
Darius Need clear from concussion. Mahomes with the high ankle sprain. We saw in the championship game that it wasn't much of an issue, but still, I mean, these things could turn up.
But listen, there's one more thing that says about these 2 teams is how well they've drafted. You know, in the championship game, who was Sky Moore, and not only drafted, traded as well. So Sky Moore came up big. Scantling came up big. You know, you've seen what Pacheco has done this season.
Oh, yeah,
it's beyond amazing. Yeah, and the same on Philly side. So yeah, healthy or not, it's going to be a tough one.
I'll give you my outside pick, and I have wagered certain amounts of chocolate. We'll call it chocolate. I think the guy who came from Carolina to Philadelphia will be the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Hassan Reddick.
I mean, he deserves something.
He
That's
is
for
a
sure.
pass rushing phenom. I mean, I think he's the best in the NFL.
He'll be the Von Miller of this Super Bowl.
You know what was funny in the Niners game? They actually had tight ends and wide receivers trying to block him.
Yeah.
Okay, and where was Purdy going to go? In the tent. And that's where he did.
In the blue tent. That's where he ended up.
That's where he ended up.
All right. So we've got the Super Bowl out. It's quite exciting. Let's go to other news right now. Sean Peyton named as the head coach of the Denver Broncos. Quite an interesting press conference and a few interviews there. Some big statements being made on the change of culture, this nepotism kind of that's been rife over there with Russell Wilson and his parking spots and his own offices and his private coaches and all of that. And Sean Payton seems to just say that, you know, I mean, the quote was, "This is foreign to me. You know, it's not going to happen." Coach, talk us through this one. I mean, in terms of coming into an organization and changing that culture, is this a make or break for Russell Wilson? I mean, do you see, first of all, do you see Sean Payton being able to turn things around for Russell Wilson, or is it over for him?
I find it interesting. My next to last coaching position back in Texas, our staff came into a brand new school, right? And we're coming in, and that school had some winning opportunities about 2 years before we came in, and then had one very bad season, just like Denver has had. And then we came in, and our head coach, and they had an extremely great quarterback. I won't say the name of him, but I'll do it at the end of the story. Okay. And they had an absolutely wonderful quarterback. And we were coming in and we made some, what would you call it? Required things to do in the off season. Yeah. Making those statements. Here's where we want you to be. Here are the weights we want you to lift. Here's the running we want you to do. Okay. And then at this point, we're going to measure where everyone is. Then school's out, you have your summer, and then you come back to us. All right. As we were in that process, we had what do you call it? I wouldn't call Russell Wilson this, because I think he is not necessarily that person, even though he's married to someone who might encourage him to be. We had a prima donna quarterback.
Right.
One QB who's throwing for his 2,000 yards. I'm the guy. I am primo number one. And we held him to the same standard. And then it came up when we went to two-a-days back in August. He didn't do all the background work. He didn't lift the weights. He didn't do the running, etc. And so when it came time for our first 1 or 2 practices, he didn't get the first team snaps, because we said, when you come into the two-a-days, those that do the work will get the first team snaps. This is how I look at what Sean Peyton did and said. Yeah, it's not exactly the same, but I think, listen, this is foreign to me. What I want to do is see the proof in the pudding, right? If I see those players that are interested in us, the Denver Broncos, those are the ones who are going to play. If I see those that are interested in themselves, I have my own office, I have my own people who are going to give me, God bless Houston Texans, massages, etc., then they might not be those people. So applause to Sean Peyton, setting a standard. Now, all of us might see it as against Russell Wilson. I don't. I see it as a
for
line.
the team. It's a line in the sand. Absolutely.
Yeah. This is where we want our people to be. And if Russell Wilson takes that personally, then he might not be our QB. Yeah. And there's nothing against Nathaniel Hackett either, right? First time head coach. This is my guy. I want to give him every opportunity to be successful. I have some tie-ins with way back in my New England days. I know that TB12 brought his team in on a time, and some people are eating avocados. And so, maybe I'll do that, but I love it, right? And I think, listen, I'm going out on a limb here because I predicted Denver to be in the Super Bowl. I don't know, maybe 10 months ago.
Wow.
I think they'll be winners very quickly.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, I do. I think
we made some stupid calls.
Yeah. Johnny Manziel was the guy, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Johnny Manziel. No way.
Guess that.
Oh, wow. Super. Now, Ujitha, were you surprised
Texas. Kerrville, Texas, ladies and gentlemen.
Kerrville, Texas. There we go. Ujitha, were you surprised that that Sean Payton picked the Broncos out of all the options that he had? I mean, he seemed to have a great gig, with Fox. He could have waited another year. Then teams would not have to, give up draft picks to get him. There were a lot of different options that were available to him to go to Denver. I mean, what would be the appeal over there?
Yeah, it is very strange. And also, if you look at it, he's going to have to mold a quarterback that he's not or the type of quarterback that he's not used to. This is a guy who spent years and years with a guy like Drew Brees, where he controlled, traditional, thread the needle from the pocket kind of guy. To now you've got Russell Wilson, who we know predominantly since his time at Seahawks that he's a mobile quarterback, clutch, put it on his shoulders in the fourth quarter kind of guy. So that is also a bit strange to me. How is he going to adjust? Or like Coach said, is Russell Wilson going to adapt to all these things that Sean Payton's going to do? And what, are they going to come to loggerheads? So the other way to look at it also is Sean Payton looking this as a project. Is it, hey, I'm the, QB whisperer. I'm going to come and take this wild Russell Wilson. What was it? Ride him. What did he say? Ride him, cowboy. What did he say? What was that thing?
Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Sean's got his lasso and, he wants to do his thing. So I see it that way as well. So, yeah, it's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah. Well, speaking of prima donna quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers is going on a...
Too much light in here.
Yeah. Too much light in
What's all this light about?
No, he's going on a self-imposed coach has gone dark as well.
He's going dark. Yeah.
Well, a self-imposed solitary confinement, if I could describe it that way, a darkness retreat for 4 days without the use of drugs. He made that very clear. So there's not going to be anything to cause hallucinations before he decides whether he's going to play.
Because he
not.
took them before he decided to go.
You know, all I could think about when I was hearing this is please throw this guy into the New York sports market. Please, we want to see how those two things come together, because I mean the drama in there is unbelievable. Coach, do you see him playing next year? If just quickly simulate a 4-day, solitary confinement in your brain, what would you decide?
Hey, that's what happens.
Coach is like, I just can't put up with this stuff.
No, because that's what happens to coach when he talks back to the wife.
You might have some experience. I don't know.
Talks back to the wife or talks at all in the house. 4-day darkness, baby.
Coach,
say something.
I think we
Yes.
Yes.
Look, I am not one to judge people. I don't want to judge what decisions he might make and what environment he might put himself in. Having been someone in that environment, even for just a few hours on a bad decision, what the absolute F is he thinking?
Yeah. What's going on?
I would prefer him to go wherever he went in the Aztec community last year.
Right.
Take whatever he
ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca. That's right.
I would prefer that. Yes.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not judging him. I hope that Green Bay does what they did when he was a rookie or a 3-year rookie, and Brett Favre was trying to decide, where am I going to go? Am I going to retire? Am I going to go to the Jets, etc.?
Yeah.
I hope that Green Bay does the same with him.
They'll probably trade him. I see a trade happening.
Unfortunately, I do too, but it can't happen unless he agrees to a salary decrease or a salary cap hit. Yeah.
Okay.
No one's going to pick up that $50 million salary cap hit this year, right? And I just don't see it. I would love to see him in the Jets. I would absolutely. I couldn't give me my Rice Krispies, give me my bowl. I will watch their games. Yes. So I don't know. I like the kid that they have behind him. I liked him when he was coming out, when Brett Favre was trying to decide.
Yeah.
I read a quote that he gave as Brett Favre was deciding, and he said, listen, Brett is his own man. I hope he decides what's best for him. I would never do this in my career to someone later.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And here we are. Same scenario playing out.
Go be dark. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Go be dark.
Lights off. You know what? Sometimes it's clap, clap.
Yeah,
clap. Yes, they're on, they're off. I don't care anymore. I really don't. Darla, go root for someone else.
Yeah, I think so.
We've advised that a lot.
Let's wrap this up with Tom Brady. So we've got Tom Brady here retiring, this time for good. Final thoughts. I mean, I don't know if the season that he came back for was worth it, but I think he goes down in history as the greatest of all time. Ujitha, what do you say on Tom Brady's career here?
Look, I mean, he just messed up his legacy a bit. That's what's sad, because here we had, the GOAT, and watching that video he made was actually sad, because it was so filled with regret. That's what it was. It's like, I think I made a mistake here. I played an extra season. My life got all messed up, and that's it. I'm done, guys. I'm gone. So
did you hear about a guy who actually went to the spot that Tom Brady filmed that video from and filled up a jar of sand from that spot?
Why not?
And put it up on auction or eBay or whatever it was, and there was a bid for $99,000 for that jar of sand. I mean, talk about a smart. I mean, yeah. Well, I think there's a bit of a Tom Brady fatigue in terms of people talking about him, and I think it will be nice to see him take that break. I think he said he's going to start his Fox career in the fall of 2024. So that break for 1 year where he gets to step back, hopefully try to kind of sort things out in his private life. But for me, maybe we say now that he ruined his legacy a little bit, but 2-3 years from now, we're not going to remember this. We're just going to remember the Super Bowls and all the success.
I agree. Is there a coincidence with Sean Peyton leaving so soon and him coming in?
At Fox.
That could be. No, but then there's a 1 year gap. So next season, I think he's not going to be in the Fox booth, but then it'll be a year after that. Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right.
Are you happy with Steve Wilkes as the DC?
I'm happy for him. Yeah, I'm happy for him to go to the 49ers. I think he deserves a head coaching job in the near future. And I think this time next year, we'll be talking about Steve Wilkes getting a head coaching job. There's no doubt about that.
Speaking of which, what do you make of some of the hires like Bill O'Brien back at NE? I mean, I think that as offensive coordinator,
they
needed that.
I'm glad Ben McAdoo is out, so we're not getting that back, right? I think we got a defensive coordinator who's experienced as well, so I'm happy about that. So I think overall it's good, but the biggest question for the Carolina Panthers is the quarterback. And I'm glad to hear that Derek Carr is interviewing with the New Orleans Saints. I hope that goes through because that's not the answer. I mean, how many times can you clone Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield and all of these guys, right? I think we need to find either go from the draft. We've got 2 second-round picks. We've got the 9th pick in the draft. I think we can actually trade some of these for a number 1. I'm happy getting a new quarterback from the draft and developing him over a couple of years. I don't know, but
I read, you're not going to like this, but I read an interesting article this morning. Jameis Winston to Carolina.
No. We've gone through that experiment.
I like that.
With Cam Newton, Teddy Bridgewater, and now Jameis Winston. All right.
I gotta like that.
Interesting. I think they'll piece some things together and end up being the 3rd or 4th pick in the draft. And I think they'll get either the guy from Ohio State, probably, or one of the other guys, maybe the Kentucky guy, Levi or Levy, whatever his name is. I think you have a very good offensive-minded coach, which is what the owner wants.
But a coach that needs a well-established quarterback, not to bring or coach a new quarterback into.
I think Reich can do that.
Yeah,
I think he can.
Let's see.
Yeah, but man, if he signs any old veteran, you're going to end up like he was in Indy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I guess.
well, yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, let's order some crab legs when we meet for the Super Bowl. Jameis Winston it is.
Hey, one Super Bowl question before we sign off.
All right.
Who was the last regular season MVP to go to the Super Bowl and win was?
That.
1999.
It wasn't Patrick Mahomes?
No, wasn't.
No.
99. Greatest show on turf.
Was it really?
Kurt Warner, baby.
Was it really Kurt Warner?
Wow.
Kurt Warner, 99, the last regular season MVP. So, is Mahomes going to break that? That's the question.
Let's see. Well, he's 10-3 in the postseason, so he's got a pretty good record in the postseason.
Andy Reid on a bye, man.
You said it there.
Why did you wait till the end of the podcast to mention that? Let's talk about it. Andy Reid on a bye.
Hey, just quick question. Who will be the difference maker in Philly for this Super Bowl? Give me one name.
Well, other than Hassan Reddick, AJ
Okay, good.
Brown, we've already said it.
AJ Brown or Devontae Smith, actually. I think one of these two is going to break out. Yeah.
I think it's going to be Gainwell.
All right, Mo, give me one for Kansas City.
Kelsey. It's always Kelsey.
Man, you got to watch 87. My
Yeah.
God, can you just not cover the guy?
I mean, I think they can all be down. All the wide receivers could get injured. If you have Mahomes and you have Kelsey, you could still win a football game. So I think
Cincinnati had him covered for a while. I think that was a mistake. When they started, they had him covered for a while.
Yeah.
That game.
A while, you just need one play.
Yeah, but then he had Pacheco going, and then they forgot about Kelsey. So yeah, it was all all over the place.
I'll give you an underdog. I think number 10 for Kansas City.
Number 10. Who is that?
They're running back, man.
Oh, the run.
Yeah. I think that's the dark horse. Yeah. 95-1 Super Bowl MVP.
Wow. Ooh, these are some juicy odds there.
Dark horse. Let's go.
All right, guys. This has been a fantastic season. Of course, we're going to be missing our friend Mark Sherman. We lost him around this time last year, so we couldn't do the Super Bowl episode last year. But we're going to get together. We're going to honor his memory, and we're going to have a heck of a Super Bowl. Shall we tell people where we're going to be if they want to come by? Yeah, so we're going to see us in JLT McGettigan's watching the Super Bowl. If you see us, if you find us, come by, say hello.
Shout out to McGettigan's.
Sports Unhinged.
Look for the ball-headed guy and the two brown guys. You'll find us.
There you go.
And he'll be in the middle. All right.
Have a good one. Bears. We'll see you in after.